I never thought of being a nobody to being the daughter of the moon goddess, revered by an entire pack. When I was told this was my destiny, I felt both confused and scared. But as I watched those strong warriors swear allegiance to me, I realized my life would change forever. Chapter for Eleanor. The tantalizing aroma of sausage wafted through the air, gently rousing me from my slumber. My heightened werewolf senses make the scent even more potent, causing my stomach to growl loudly. I blink my eyes open, realizing I'm famished and unsure of how long I've been asleep. Turning my head, I spot a tray on the bedside table. Slowly, I prop myself up and remove the lid, revealing a feast fit for an alpha. A towering stack of pancakes takes center stage, flanked by crispy bacon and juicy sausage links. Another plate holds golden shredded potatoes, a fluffy biscuit, and condiments. A small dish of butter sits beside a mug of syrup, completing the mouth-watering spread. Gratitude washes over me as I silently thank the moon goddess for this bounty. I eagerly dig in, savoring each bite. Oh, my goddess, this is amazing, I moan, my mouth full of sausage and pancake. Naoma, my inner wolf, chimes in with a playful giggle. You act like we've never eaten cooked meat. I scrunch my nose in response. You might like to eat wild rabbit, but it's not my thing, I retort, shoving more food into my mouth and wiggling with delight. What? You don't like fast food? Naoma snickers, her wolfish humor shining through. More like raw, I counter, rolling my eyes at her penchant for uncooked meat. Just as I'm about to take another bite of pancake, the door swings open. Calum strides in, looking even more handsome than when I first laid eyes on him. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nogan, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I must admit, the tray he's carrying and the promise of more food might be enhancing his appeal. He smirks as he approaches, setting down 3 cups on the bedside table. I brought you some orange juice, coffee, and water, he explains, before placing the last cup on the counter. The realization that Calum has brought me breakfast in bed, and not just any breakfast, but pancakes, my favorite along with an array of beverages, overwhelms me. Tears well up in my eyes as I swallow my mouthful of food. I blink rapidly, meeting Calum's gaze as he settles into a chair beside the bed, watching me with concern. Everything okay? His brow furrowing. Do you not like orange juice? A half sob. Half laugh escapes me. What makes you think it's the orange juice? My emotions getting the better of me. He frowns, confused. Maybe it's the coffee. Calum scoffs and leans back, taking a sip from his own cup. Who doesn't like coffee? I shrug, composing myself. Some people don't, I reply, reaching for the orange juice. As I take a long drink, closing my eyes in bliss, I can't help but moan at the sweet taste. It's been so long since I've had orange juice. When I finish the entire glass, I look over to find Calum staring at me intently. I take it you like orange juice. His voice deep and husky. My heart skips a beat and I can feel my face flush. I try to play it cool. I haven't had it in a while. Shrugging and taking a bite of some bacon, he stands up suddenly, making me jump. Leaning over the bed, he gets closer to my facer, slowly tracing his hand up my thigh, then my arm. Bending closer, he takes the rest of the bacon from between my fingers, sucking the grease in the process. I can't breathe. Goddess, this man is sexy. Calum locks eyes with mine for a few moments before asking, and why has it been so long since you have had orange juice? My head is all fuzzy from him being so close. All I can think about is tasting the bacon on his lips. Eleanor. Leaning closer. Oh goddess. The way he says my answered the question. A cheers almost touching my lips. Because I wasn't allowed to. I breathe. He pulls back, frowning. What do you mean? Shaking my head. No, I know nothing about this guy. He is our mate. Pikes Naoma. I refrained from rolling my eyes. Yes, he is. But that doesn't mean I'm going to just trust him. I say back to her and she goes quiet. I clear my throat. It's nothing. Caleb doesn't say anything for a few minutes. He looks as though he wants to but decides against it. Eat, he says, going back to his chair and downing the rest of his coffee. I don't hug you. I focus on my food, finishing it in record time, leaning back against my pillows. I feel like I'm going to explode. I can't remember the last time I ate so much. I figure I'll just close my eyes for a few moments and let it settle. A few hours later, the doctor had come in and given me the okay to go. My advanced healing had finally kicked in, and seeing I was holding down food with no problem, there was no reason for me to stay. However, I was concerned about what would happen now that I was being released. I knock sounds on the door and Cale pops his head in. I ignore the disappointed feeling at not seeing Caleb, though some space might be a good thing. I mean, the man made me feel all sorts of things, and I needed a clear head right now. Good afternoon, Luna, Cale says, entering the room holding up a duffel bag. I look at him like he has to hits. Luna, duh, Naomi chimes. Our mate is the Alpha. What do you think he is going to call us? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, true, he hadn't rejected us, but I still feel easy over the whole thing. It'd always been sort of invisible, or at least tried to keep it that way. So, being noticed as a higher-up, I don't really know how to feel. Naomi, on the other hand, seemed to swell with pride at the respect. How could we be so much alike yet so different? She was always willing to throw whatever to the wind and just roll with it. Where I was a bit more hesitant. It was hard when we had conflicting emotions. Cale clears his throat before lifting the bag again. I blush at getting lost in my thoughts. At least he gave me a moment and didn't point out the obvious. I brought you some clothes. Luna, stepping closer to me with the bag still lifted. You look about the same size as my sister. I raise my eyebrows. Not that you will have to have hand-me-downs. Your dress was just ruined, so you will need some new clothes. Was he being serious? Achius acting like the thought was offensive. Honestly, I was just surprised by the gesture. Thank you, Abeta. I say awkwardly and take the bag. He nods. Right. Well, I will let you get dressed. And Dilara, that's my sister. Put some other female things in there for you. I will be just outside the door when you're done. And with that, he steps out, closing the door softly, making my way to the bathroom. I cringe at my reflection. I look awful. My hair is all wild, and I have dark circles under my eyes. I look like a wild animal, though to be honest I didn't get to check my reflection much, so maybe this is how I always looked. With a sigh, I peek into the bag. There is a lace white bra and panties, with the tag still attached. Okay, so these are new. A pair of shorts, a white thick-strapped tank, sandals, a hairbrush, toothbrush, toothpaste, a bottle of shampoo and conditioner, and some sort of soap bar that smells like honeysuckle. I cut the shower on and, after getting out of the oversized gown I had been wearing, I groan as I step under the hot spray. The last time I had a hot shower, if you could call it that, was while cleaning the showers at the Pack House gym. I was sprayed by some of the girls who thought it would be funny to soak my clothes. Normally, I only had a cold scrub or wash in the small cove near the cliff edge I loved so much. As for soap, well, it was usually whatever was about to be thrown out. I stayed in the shower for a while, loving the feel of the conditioner in my hair and the way the suds felt sliding over my skin. After a bit, I got out and finished getting around. It just finished brushing my teeth when another knock sounds at the door. Stepping from the bathroom, Cale pops his head in. Feel better. Grinning, I nod. Good. Opening the door all the way. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I glance around the room, not that I had anything to grab, and I nod again, following him out. Making our way out of the Pack Hospital, I notice for pack warriors waiting. You could always tell the difference between the warriors and the pack. They stand at attention as Kale and I approach. One man says, stepping forward from the group. He is the same height as Kale, around 6 foot. Werewolves were normally always tall and built. Xander, Kale says, with a nod. How's the perimeter looking? Everything has been quiet. Good. Now I want you all to meet our Luna, says Kale, nodding in my direction. All eyes turn to me, and they bow slightly as a sign of respect. This is awkward. I don't know what else to do, so I nod back. The man calls and steps to me and grabs my hand. I flinch, but he ignores it. Bowing, he touches the back of my hand to his forehead. Luna. I am Xander, Gamma to the Blood Moon Pack. I promise to honor and protect you, even at the cost of my life. With that, he drops my hand and steps back. The next warrior steps forward, doing the same. Luna. My name is Tyra. I am a top warrior of the Blood Moon Pack. I promise to honor and protect you, even at the cost of my life. Each warrior follows. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. So, I just stand here with my face bright red and my thoughts going 100 miles a minute. How could these men promise me anything? They don't even know me. After they've each sworn an oath to me, we proceed to a car. Kale holds the door for me as I climb in and makes his way to the front passenger seat. Tyler gets behind the wheel and the rest of who I assume are personal bodyguards. A bit overkill. If you ask me, follow the car as we pull from the pack hospital. I gaze out the tinted windows as we make our way through the territory. A stretch of shops lines either side of the road before fading into cute houses with even spacing. People are walking around doing everyday things while some kids run and play. The sight makes me smile. Everyone looks at peace here. I have to say it's not what I was expecting. When hearing anything about the Blood Moon Pack, the pack that struck fear into every known shifter, you wouldn't expect it to look so normal. We aren't in the car long when we pull up outside a large brick house. I lean closer to the window so I could look up at the huge 3-story, for lack of a better word, mansion. It's absolutely beautiful. The bricks slightly faded but still in great condition. The trim around the windows is white, matching the large pillars that accent the front of the house. An extensive set of marble steps runs up the front to a pair of double, I assume oak doors, with broad knockers. Thick ivory S growing up and around the one side of the house makes it obvious how old the house must be. Kale and Tyler are already out of the car, standing on either side. Kale opens the door for me and I step out. The warriors who followed us are standing at attention, facing away from me. They scan the area as I follow Kale up the steps. I feel kind of ridiculous. I was some kind of pop star. Hell, I was a nobody from nowhere. I may have grown up in a pack, but I was never a part of it. I had no one, not one single person, to watch my back. It was just me and Naoma. Now I was being treated as if I were made of glass. The thought kind of annoys me, as we make our way through the front door. The inside is beautiful. Hardwood floors in dark, glossy color flow through the house. The walls are a light grey with many paintings spread throughout the room, yet it seems to flow together. There is a beautiful oak desk by the entry with a white marble vase and flowers. It's elegant and looks expensive. Looking down at my clothes, I feel so out of place. Kale motions toward the hall at the far end of the entry and I follow, admiring the different artwork and photos hanging along the walls as we make our way deeper into the mansion. After a few turns, we stop outside a door and Kale knocks. Yes, come in, says a voice I recognize. Kale opens the door and allows me to enter first. Stepping into the room, I notice Kale sitting at a large, dark desk. He's looking down, writing on some papers. The room is quite large for an office. In front of the desk, there are 2 leather chairs, and behind them, a set of bookcases lined with books in the same color. The large floor-to-ceiling windows let in plenty of natural light. On the opposite wall, there is another bookshelf flanked by a matching couch. A single door stands on the right side wall, next to yet another couch in the same color. Potted plants are placed in various spots, giving it a nature-like feel. I notice Calum is staring at me as I finish scanning the room. Cale, not taking his eyes off of me. Record. Everything is quiet, Alpha. Cale answers. Calum nods. We will go over the rest of the details later. Yes, Alpha. With a nod, and exits the room, closing the door behind him. Calum clears his throat. Sit down. Slowly, I turn from the door and perch on the edge of one of the leather chairs. You can get comfortable. I am comfortable. I lie, shifting in my seat. Naoma, who has been quiet until this point, is nudging at the back of my mind. She wants us to move closer to Calum and his wolf, but I'm still not sure about this whole thing. I mean, what, a week ago, give or take? Because I honestly have no idea what day it is. We were slaving away as an Omega, and now we are expected to. What? Be a Luna? Yeah. No, I mean, sure, the moon goddess has a sense of humor, but this is a bad joke. Care to share your thoughts? Calum asks, leaning back in his chair. I shake my head. He lets out a sigh, putting his hand over his face. Look, we need to get to know each other, and I can't do that if you are going to be so stubborn. I sit in silence. What could I say? The truth, Naoma purrs. I roll my eyes, which probably was the best move because now Calum is glaring at me. I will find out what I want to know about you. I always find out what I want to know. Moving from his chair and leaning on the desk in front of me. I could tell when I introduced myself you knew who I was. So why make this a game of cat and mouse? I lean back. My whole body is buzzing with him being so close. Is it hot in here? The room feels hot. Maybe I could ask him to open a window. Closing my eyes, I swallow hard. I don't feel well. When I open them, I see Calum watching me, but it's not just him. His wolf's eyes are glowing. Suddenly, a sharp pain hits my gut. I gasp, feeling like Ivy being shot with an arrow that's on fire. It spreads over my whole body. I double over and Calum catches me by the shoulders. The spot he touches cools while the rest of me ignites. Like him burning alive. Shit. Scooping me into his arms. I don't understand what is happening. I want to tell him to put me down, but the pain dulls as he tightens his grip, though I nuzzle closer to his chest. Calum kicks his office door open and makes his way down the hall, back to the main entrance. I can barely make out Cale and standing there. My head is throbbing and my vision is going fuzzy. Calum lets out a low growl as they step closer. Oh, shit, is she? Cale says. But Calum cuts him off. Yes, he growls, pulling me closer. My brain is screaming for him to put me down. But when he pulls me close, it feels better. Don't let anyone inside. Making his way to the stairs. I hadn't noticed those before. Or maybe I did, I can't think straight right now. He takes the steps two at a time. Goddess. HES strong. I can feel his muscles flexing through his shirt and his ABS tense against my side as he makes his way up to the third floor. He didn't even break a sweat. His breathing is a little uneven, but I don't think it's from the climb. I shut my eyes. The pain is getting worse and all I want to do is rip off the tank top and shorts I'm wearing. They feel like acid on my skin. I whimper into Calum's chest. Shh, baby. I know it hurts, but I will make it go away. Go away? How is he going to do that? I don't even know why it hurts so much. I feel his long strides as he makes his way down the hall. After what feels like an eternity, which was probably only a few minutes, my body jerks as he kicks another door open. His scent surrounds me, but I don't need to open my eyes to realize we are in his bedroom. Oh, goddess. Why are we in his bedroom? Eleanor, he says, striding across the room. Baby, I need you to open your eyes. I don't want to. The pain. It hurts so bad. I can't move or think. I just groan as he sets me down on a counter. You would think it'd be cool to the touch, but instead it sets me on fire as he pulls away, causing me to sway and almost topple over. He grabs my face with both hands. Why does it hurt so bad? Looking at him as tears stream down my face, Calum looks confused. Didn't your mother ever teach you about the heat? I shake my head. Duck. Making me jump. Sorry, I just don't understand. I thought every wolf knows so. Forget it, he says, taking off his shirt. What are you doing? Barely able to get the words out as my body trembles. Taking care of you, he says before kissing my forehead. Can you sit for a minute? I need to close the door. I know, and he kisses my forehead again. I sigh as my skin cools from the contact. But as soon as he steps away, it takes all my strength not to fall over. Cheers back in a matter of seconds and cuts the shower on. I'm going to need to take your clothes off. I shake my head. I want them off, but I hardly know the man. Besides, I've never been naked in front of a guy. Weird for a shifter. I know. Regardless, I was not about to just take my clothes off. I glance at him and he looks torn. He runs his hands through his hair. Look, we need to cool you down, and the only way to do that is if I get you in a cold shower. I nod slightly, understanding. Good. Now I will have to take off your shirt, shoes, and shorts, but we can leave your bra and panties on if that makes you feel more comfortable. Leaning against the counter with his hands on either of me, I'm still not sure, but another wave of heat shoots over my skin and I'm ripping my shirt over my head. I about topple off the counter, but Calum grabs me and it's so soothing. I lean into his chest. Slowly he picks me up and I moan as he slides my body down the front of him until my feet touch the floor, running his hands down my arms. I shiver at the cooling effect his touch has on my skin as he reaches the waistline of my shorts, keeping my eyes closed and my head pressed against his chest. He unbuttons them and drags them down. I sigh as he lightly massages my thighs. The molten lava running through my veins cools in another area, cradling me against his chest. He walks into the shower at the far corner of the room. I gasp as the cold water hits my skin and cling to him. For a few moments, he just stands there holding me. The pain fades a little and I begin to feel awkward having him hold me like a child. You can put me down, I say into his chest. He slowly lowers my legs until I'm standing and I quickly face away from him. If my skin wasn't already flushed, it definitely would be now, because when I look down, I remember him in a white lace bra and panties. I suddenly feel very nervous and aware of the man behind me. He pulls me against him and runs his nose along my neck. I bite my lip, fighting back a moan. I know I should move away, but the water is so soothing against my skin, yet it doesn't compare to his touch. Slowly, he runs his hands up my arms and starts massaging my shoulders. This time I can't help it. I moan as my body relaxes. Nobody has ever given me a massage, and it feels amazing, or is it only amazing because I'm almost naked? In the shower with my mate, he continues to work his hands over my back, leaving a trail of kisses from my ear down my neck. I can't help but shiver as I feel him smirk against my skin. Feeling any better? He asks between kisses. Relaxing further, I lean against him, rolling my head to the side to give him better access to my neck. He kisses and massages my neck, shoulders, and back. His touch feels incredible, but I can't help feel frustrated that he is not exploring other parts of my body where the heat has settled. What is wrong with me? I scold myself. After a while, my skin's cooled, and only a low hum's vibrating through my body, mostly between my thighs. But I feel exhausted and my knees are beginning to shake under my weight. Calum leans around me and turns the water off before reaching out and grabbing a huge fluffy towel that he then wraps around me, before lifting me back into his arms and carrying me into the bedroom, laying me down on a huge king-size bed with a red silk comforter that feels like a cloud. I watch as he makes his way to a walk-in closet on the other side of the room. When I notice he hadn't even taken his pants off while we were in the shower, Guilt washes over me for being so judgmental about him trying to take my clothes off. There is no way that could have been comfortable. A prickling sensation spreads through my arms and legs, making me feel warm and tingly all over again. Oh no. I groan as Kale walks out of the closet wearing only a pair of gym shorts. My eyes widen as I take in his toned muscles. It's not like this was the first time I had seen a shifter without a shirt, but something about the way they move as he walks makes me feel even hotter. Only this is a good kind of hot, not a burning in a fiery pit of hell kind. I'd forgotten I had pulled the towel off when the pain started to come back, meaning I was now laying on his bed in nothing but my through white lace blonde panties. His eyes darken as he makes his way over to me, like a predator stalking its prey. I can't look away. My mouth goes dry as he leans closer. I know I should pull away. It's clear his wolf has all the control, but I can't move. Did I really want to though? His eyes flash back and forth as he fights with his wolf, closing them. He takes a few deep breaths. When he opens them, they are back to their normal cup. I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. Caleb smiles and caresses the back of his hand across my cheek, sending sparks and a cooling pleasure through my once again overheating body. You need to sleep. Joining me on the bed, he moves some of the large body pillows at the head of the bed and helps me lie down, propping my head on his chest. He then lifts my leg and places it over his torso. He starts rubbing circles on my thigh with his hand and up and down my arm with his other. I should feel uncomfortable sprawled pretty much naked on a man's chest. I barely know, but the fire that was attempting to consume me becomes bearable with each stroke. I sigh, and a satisfied rumble sounds in his chest. He kisses the top of my head as my eyes grow heavy. How in the hell am I so tired? I've been doing nothing but sleeping. Don't fight it. As if he can read my mind. Going through heat will drain your system. I was going through the heat. This is what it felt like. How was I going through heat? We'd just found out we were mates. We must have a strong bond, Caleb says, still tracing circles on my thigh. It normally takes 2, sometimes 3, weeks before you go into heat. Are you reading my mind or something? Looking up at him, he raises his brow. If I could, I wouldn't have to push so hard for answers to my questions. You said your mother never told you about heat. I look down. The subject of my parents was not something I wanted to discuss. Why didn't she explain it to you? I feel irritated. She just didn't. Okay, I snap. Caleb growls lower in his chest. He's an alpha and doesn't like to be disrespected. I can relate. I didn't mean for it to come out like that. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I just really don't want to discuss my parents right now. After a few minutes he sighs. Eventually you will be honest with me, and if it wasn't for your heat right now, I would put you over my knee and teach you the manners you obviously lack. I try to pull away, but he tightens his grip on my thigh. The enthusiasm, leaning close to my ear. He whispers, "Don't you dare. Or heat or no heat. I will bend you over my knee." I glare at him. I want to smack him in the face. If he thought for 1 minute I was going to let him punish me, he had another thing coming. He keeps a straight face, but I can see it in his eyes. Like he was saying, "Try me." We stare at each other, neither of us breaking eye contact. I would not back down, but he hasn't made a move yet either. Narrowing my eyes at him, I finally look away. I decide it's just not worth the effort. Right now, he gives a satisfied growl, and I roll my eyes. That's right. Bask in the moment, because this isn't over. Not even close. Chapter 5. Eleanor. I groan as the morning light hits my face. Turning, I try to hide from the annoying glow and find myself snuggling into a pillow. My eyes flutter open, and I frown. Hadn't I fallen asleep on Caleb's chest? Why was I now hugging a pillow? Wait, why did I care? Stretching, I groan again. I'd never slept in such a comfortable bed before. But because of the heat, I feel like I'd been pushed down a flight of stairs and run over by a truck. After a few moments, I sit up and look around. I notice the room looks more like a hotel suite than a bedroom. It's large enough for the king-size bed, a desk, dresser, nightstands, and even has a love seat over by a window with a coffee table and bookcase. Even the colors flow together in hues of red and dark oak. I slowly climb out of the bed, expecting the floor to be cold with the hardwood, but it's toasty warm. Making my way over to the bathroom, I peek through the door. I hadn't gotten a good look when we first came in, as I was preoccupied with the thought of burning to death. Flipping the light on, I'm taken aback at how large it is. A huge black marble vanity runs across the back wall with two sinks and a full mirror. There is a large jacuzzi tub on the right side along with the toilet and a huge corner shower to the left. Where I had spent last night with Calum. My cheeks heat as I look down. I'm still in my lace bra and panties. When I notice the bag from the hospital is sitting near the counter, I decide I should probably get cleaned up. I might have been in the shower for a bit last night, but that didn't mean I was clean. Looking at the jacuzzi tub, I think how nice the bubbles would feel on my aching muscles. Closing the door, I decide against the tub. I didn't know how long I was going to be alone, and I would rather anyone walk in while I was soaking in the tub, so a second shower would have to do. A few moments later, after completing my bathroom routine, I'm standing in a towel, looking around the room. I only had the one set of clothes from yesterday and they were nowhere to be found. Did Calum take my clothes? Did he think I was just going to walk around in my undergarments all day? Or what? I huff. I can't just stand here naked until he comes back. I mean, sure, he got a pretty good view of me last night, but I wasn't about to go parading around in the nude. A girl has standards. Head into the walk-in closet. I flip the light on. There are rows of clothes hanging on either side. As I make my way into the closet, I gently brush my hand over some of the shirts. His scent is so strong in here. There was no mistake. This was all his. After debating for a few moments, I decide he'll just borrow a button-up shirt and a pair of his boxer shorts. Luckily, he liked the kind that had band or there is no way they'd stay up. Looking in the full-length mirror on the closet door, I decide this would have to do. My stomach growls and I realize I haven't eaten since yesterday morning. Not that going in between meals was something new. Feeling uneasy, I pace around the room for a few minutes, trying to decide if I should just wait here or go. In the end, my growling stomach wins, so I make my way to the door and poke my head out. It must still be early because the hall is dim and only a little light is filtering through the curtains. Good thing I have werewolf vision, so I don't need a lot of light. I glance up and down the hall again, but I don't see anyone, so I decide it's probably safe to go in search of the kitchen. Maybe I can grab something and make it back without anyone noticing. I had been wandering around for a good 30 minutes before I had finally found what I was looking for. It wasn't hard to find the stairs, and I had assumed the kitchen would be on the first floor. I had not, however, thought there would be so many rooms for so many functions. This had to be Calum's house because a packed house would have a lot more people walking around. Not that I really wanted to run into anyone, though it would have been nice to find someone to point me towards the kitchen. The kitchen was enormous, like a pack house kitchen. Good goddess, how much space does he need? The countertops are made of marble and, like the rest of the house, it's elegant. Stainless steel appliances adorn the kitchen. Some of them I recognize, and some I don't. A double stack oven and stovetop sit on the back side of the kitchen, while the counters run the length of the walls. A large double-door fridge with a pull-out freezer sits on the right side of the room, with countertops continuing on either side. More appliances are sitting here and there on the counters. A coffee machine. I knew what that was, but it has all sorts of high-tech buttons, so I'd better not touch it. A stand mixer. Goddess, wouldn't that have been nice while making all that food for the pack house? And a few other machines I hadn't seen before. A large item with a bar sits in the center, with pots and pans of all shapes and sizes hanging above it. Well, At least those wouldn't be hard to find. I still haven't run into anyone, and I was even more hungry after wandering around the house forever, so I think I'll just whip up a few things to eat. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I am sure Calum wouldn't mind. He seemed pretty eager to feed me at the hospital. I'm so focused on making food, I didn't notice Calum, his way into the kitchen. I have eggs cooking, bacon sizzling in one oven, and biscuits in the other, which pains as in stirring some sausage gravy on the stovetop. I turn around from pulling the biscuits out of the oven and nearly drop the whole pan, seeing him leaning against the doorframe. Gia? I shout. Don't do that. What are you doing? Looking amused. I was hungry. I stammer, feeling embarrassed at being caught. What happened to grab something and go? I can see that, he says. I watch as he walks into the kitchen. Does this man ever not look good? A chest wearing a pair of dark jeans and a cuffed blue shirt that hugs his body in all the right ways. Pull yourself together. I scold myself, taking a seat at one of the bar stools. So you know how to cook? Nodding, I place the biscuit pan down and cut the heat off to the gravy. Hungry. Glancing at him, Calum nods. So I reach up into the cabinet to pull down a plate. I freeze as he walks up behind me, lightly brushing against my back. He reaches over my head and grabs the plate. Setting it on the counter, he whispers in my ear, "You made breakfast. You'll plate it." I suppress a shiver. Would I ever get used to the effect he had on me? Either way, he adds, running his nose along my neck, "You look great in my shirt." A blush makes its way up my neck and to my cheeks. I turned slightly. "I wouldn't be in your shirt if you didn't take my clothes." Raising a brow, he grins. "Nobody said you had to wear my shirt. You could have just stayed in your bra and panties." My face heats as last night's events play over in my head, closing my eyes, attempting to get my nerves under control. He chuckles and slowly moves away from me, making sure to brush up against me. I quickly round the island and sit on the stool, trying to put space between us. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. It got to nap before the sun to go for a run. Last night was one of the hardest nights of my life, not only dealing with Eleanor's heat, but trying to keep myself in control during the process. I wanted so badly to take her pain away, but the only way to do that would be to mate and claim her, and I knew she was ready for that. I didn't want to push her into something she was comfortable with. But goddess, how I wanted her. Hearing her moan was torture enough, but seeing her sprawled out on my bed in nothing but her white wet bra and panties, I almost cowled and tree Artemis in. It was going to be easy to get her to trust me if I cowled and hold myself together. After I'd gone for a long run, I argued with Artemis. He was insisting we return to the bedroom in wolf form to show off, to which I had to convince him it would be better to wait until she was in her wolf form. Finally, he stopped fighting the chain, so long as I promised it would happen soon. Goddess, we are an alpha male, but he is us acting like a sick pup. Artemis growls in the back of my mind. Thoughts of us being weak did not make him happy. Hell, it didn't make me happy. What if our enemies saw us this way? They would take full advantage. We are known for being the most ruthless pack in the States. Even the Werewolf Council comes to me for help. I say, running my hand over my face as I make my way back to the bedroom. The thought of watching our mate sleep was all too tempting. I loved the way she looked sprawled out in my bed. Her waving hair, light pink lips, and the possibility of kissing those lips as me picking up my pace. When we reached the room, I opened the door quietly, trying not to wake her. Stepping in, I notice her scent is all over the room, but she wasn't in it. I stride to the bathroom, but she wasn't there either. Panic grips my chest. What if she had left? No, she wouldn't have been able to make it off the grounds. I had guards posted around the perimeter. Sniffing, I follow her scent back out the door. It was faint, but I could pick up on it. Tracking was my strong suit and one of the things my pack was known for. We never lost a lead. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. It doesn't take me long to locate her, and honestly, I don't know why I wouldn't have thought she would make her way to the kitchen. She had to have been hungry. She was able to eat yesterday, and I know the heat can really take it out of you. As I step into the kitchen, my eyes land on her sexy legs. She's standing on her tippy toes, pulling open the top oven. My mouth waters, and it has nothing to do with the food, though it smells amazing. The back of her shirt, or rather one of my white button-ups, is slightly lifting over her perfectly round ass, revealing a pair of my black shorts. Artemis lets out a loud howl in the back of my mind, and I have to agree. If I thought she was sexy before, goddess, I hadn't even imagined how good she would look in my clothes. I lean against the door frame, taking in the view. She turns around, holding a pan of biscuits, eyes closed, and inhaling the smell. If I didn't think she could get any hotter. I notice she doesn't have a bra on. I wonder if she knows that shirt is basically see-through. She must have finally realized she wasn't alone because she all but screams at me. Gio, don't do that. I fight to hold my laughter. What are you doing? She looks so cute, her face going red. I was hungry. She stutters. I couldn't help but smile bigger. Walking into the kitchen, I can see that I say, taking a seat on one of the bar stools. My gaze rakes over her as she turns and puts the pan down, making herself busy. I can tell she's nervous. So I try to break the ice. So, you know how to cook? Trying to make light conversation. She just nods and glances at me. Hungry. I nod, watching as she reaches up into the cupboard. The back of my shirt lifts over her perfect body, and I have a sudden urge to touch her. Before I can stop myself, I get up and walk around the counter. I can feel her stiffen as I brush up against her, but she doesn't smell of fear. Not wanting to make it too obvious, I reach past her and grab the plate she had been reaching for and set it on the counter. Smooth Artemis chuckles. I ignore him, leaning closer. I inhale the scent from her hair. Goddess, she smells amazing. You made breakfast. I'll plate it. I whisper in her ear. Her heart accelerates and I can't help but run my nose along her neck. Goddess, if she only knew what I was thinking right now. By the way, you look great in my shirt. Noticing how her face heats, she looks over her shoulder and raises her brow. I wouldn't be in your shirt if you didn't take my clothes. I can't stop the grin that spreads across my face. She had some fire. I like it. Nobody said you had to wear my shirt. You could have just stayed in your bra and panties. Enjoying the blush that spreads across her skin, I can tell she is trying to control her emotions, but I can also smell the effect I was having on her, and it's making Artemis go nuts. I need to step back before I take her right here on the counter. Chuckling, I pull away, but not until I make sure I brush against her one last time. I know she is feeling the same effect as me, and am not about to make it too easy for her. I try not to laugh as she wastes no time finding a seat on the opposite side of the counter, plating up a little bit of everything. I set one plate in front of her and set mine in front of me. I figure I'd just stay on this side of the island and let her have the illusion the counter would provide some safety. We don't say anything for a few moments, just eat in silence. Finally, I decide if she was going to start a conversation, I might as well. I place my fork down, looking at her. She stops mid-bite, frowning. What? Is something wrong with the food? I don't like to see her frown, though her concern makes me happy. It means she cares what I think. I shake my head. No, there is nothing wrong with the food. It tastes great. She slowly takes a bite, watching me. I really wish I could read her mind. I would love to know what she is thinking. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I haven't eaten in here in a long time. She looks at me like I have grown another head. What? Why, what's wrong with the kitchen? Looking around. Nothing. I just normally eat at the pack house. She looks confused. But why do you have all this food here if you don't normally eat here? I shrug, finishing the last of my food. Kale. My beta comes in here a lot. So does Ender. My gamma. Plus, my mother always used to keep his tucked. So I just do. Probably more out of habit. I grab our now empty plates and put them in the sink. Turning, I lean against the counter, watching her. She looks deep in thought. I wish she would just say what's on her mind. It's driving me nuts. But I don't interrupt. I just take in her facial expressions. I'm good at reading those. She has a pained look on her face that fades to anger. Was it something I said? Eleanor. Bringing her back to the present. She looks at me. Blue. What? Clearly confused. My favorite color. All shades of blue. Except him starting to like dark blue with flecks of grey in them the most. Walking around the counter and rubbing the back of my hand across her cheek. She lets out a soft sigh, but pulls away suddenly. It annoys me, but I cover it with a smirk. I lean closer to her and place my hands on either side of the stool. She won't get away from me that easily. And what is your favorite color? Leaning closer, I hear her heart skip a beat as she locks those beautiful eyes with mine. Ayoshi stutters. I know our pull is strong, and it's hard for her to focus. Hell, it's hard for me. Green, she says, almost breathless, but like forest green. Oh, so like the color of my wolf's eyes. I ask you voice. She swallows hard. Are they green? I nod, allowing Artemis to show her. Mine, mate, says Artemis, before our lips crash into hers. Shit, I didn't mean to give him that much control. I expect her to pull away, but after a moment, she relaxes. I can hear her heart beating like crazy. She lets out a soft moan and Artemis takes full advantage, pushing her tongue into her mouth. Slowly, she wraps her arms around her neck. He finally releases control back to me with a satisfied growl, and I pull her up against me. Goddess. She feels amazing. I can scent her arousal as we both fight for dominance. I win. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. How is that for acting like a pup? Artemis chuckles as I push him to the back of my mind. I don't need his smart ass comments right now. At some point, she wrapped her legs around my waist and I had placed her on the counter. I growl and pull away, kissing down her neck. She's panting as I make my way between her neck and shoulder and lightly nip the spot I will mark. She moans again. Goddess. I want her. I hear her throat clear behind us and just like that, the magic is broken. She gathers all her senses and shoves away from me with her face flaming. I'm gonna kill someone. Slowly, I turn around. Eleanor, oh. My goddess. My face is on fire. I totally just let Calum pick me up on the counter and grind between my legs like a horny schoolgirl. What the hell is the matter with me? Thank the goddess Scale had walked in or I probably would have lost all my senses. Calum turns away from me and stalks toward a now pale Kale. Ow, Alpha, he stammers. But Calum doesn't stop. Instead he growls and grabs him up by his neck. Oh shit. I hop off the counter and run over to them. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Back up, mate. I step back, realizing it's not Calum who's in control but his wolf, and he is choking the life out of his beta. I take a deep breath and with a shaky hand, I reach out and grab onto Calum's wrist. Put him down. Pushing confidence into my voice, I feel Naoma push strength into it as well. Calum's eyes snap to mine and he tilts his head to the side. Slowly, he lowers Kale back to the ground and lets go. His eyes fade back to their normal grey color and he blinks at me a few times. I glanced between him and Kale, who is now rubbing his neck and sucking in air. But other than that seems fine. Except they are both looking at me with the same confused look. What? Yo, you have? Kale says, clearing his throat out for blood. My eyes widen. I knew. I have beta blood. I glance at Calum, who still hasn't said a word. But he looks pissed. Kale shakes his head. No way was that a beta voice. You have alpha blood. That was a total alpha voice. I'm so confused. How would I have alpha blood? My father was a beta and so was my mother. I shake my head again. Did you know? Kale unmasks, bringing my attention back to him. Why does he look so mad? Though if he was only mad because I didn't let him strangle his beta well, then I am not sorry. Kale did nothing wrong. I decide it may be best to just be honest at this point. So I shake my head no. Calum takes a deep breath and pinches his nose. I find it hard to believe you had no clue you had alpha blood. Glaring at me, I narrow my eyes. I did not. No. Calum steps towards me and I step back. I see a flash of pain in his eyes, but I don't want him that close. I can't think straight when he's in my personal space. He keeps eye contact with me but snaps at Kale. What do you want? To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. He about killed the man and then he just snaps at him like that. However, it doesn't seem to faze Kale. Are they both freaking nuts? To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Kale says, going into full beta mode. The rogue talked. This gets Kale unmessful attention, and he asks, his head snapping in Kale's direction. Kale glances at me for a split second and then back at Calum, shaking his head. Calum sighs. My office. Walking out of the kitchen with Kale right behind him. Not even a backward glance. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilbe. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Well, fine by me, I guess. I turn on my heel to go take care of the rest of the dishes. He's got to be bipolar. I mumble to myself. Chapter 6 Eleanor. A few hours later, I find myself dying from near boredom. I have made countless trips around the mansion and still haven't seen a single soul. How could a place this big be so empty? I mean, didn't he at least have people to clean it? I'm on the second floor walking around when a pair of double French doors catches my eye. Making my way to them, I peer through the glass. I can see an abundance of green foliage and flowers. Slowly, I reach for the knob. I wonder if anyone would care if I took a closer look. Like who? Naoma puffs. Our mate, who you refused to go see. I roll my eyes. She had been trying to get me to head to his office for the past hour. But I wouldn't budge. He obviously didn't want to be near me or he wouldn't have stalked out of the kitchen like that. Nope. If he wanted me, he could come and find me. She puffs again at my stubbornness. But really, I could care less. She may be more forgiving because he's our mate. But I was not. He had no right to go off like that and leave me standing there. You're mad over nothing. Naoma chimes. I huff, pushing her to the back of my mind before opening the door. Stepping into the room, I notice it's really warm. I can see why. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. There are plants of all kinds, some hanging, some on tables, and others grouped in long rows. I walk further into the room. I've heard of this type of space before. What did they call them? A greenhouse. I had never actually seen one. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Making my way further in, I notice some flowers I recognize. Bending down, I touch the soft white petals and inhale the scent. Those are white lilies. Kelemes' voice echoes from behind me, making me all but jump out of my skin. Do you always sneak up on people? I snap, holding my hand over my heart. He quirks his brow. I'm surprised you couldn't smell my scent. Making his way closer to me. It's hard to determine your scent. Looking back at the flowers, at least when I am around these. He glances at the lilies. So I explain. Your scent is like flowers to me. Well, that sounds masculine. Picking a flower and smelling it. It's not just flowers, but a mixture of earth and rain. I've always loved it outside. I guess it makes sense that the moon goddess would have you smell like something I love. Glancing around the room, I can feel him staring at me, so I pretend to be interested in some weird-looking plant. That is the first time you have given an explanation since we met. I turn towards him. I don't know you. Shrugging. Okay, but that hasn't stopped you from getting almost naked in the shower and going to bed with me. Smirking. Or kissing me. I blush. Looking away. Well, the mate bond is strong. As you said. He leans closer to me. He doesn't touch me. But my whole body is buzzing. Don't blame it on the mate bond. It all because into my ear. Shutting my eyes. I bite my lip. Was time editing. Taking a deep breath. I turn to face him. Frowning into his chest. I look up. Why does he have to stand so close? I can't step back because that stupid plant is in the way. He looks down at me and goes to brush my hair behind my ear. I smack his hand away. He looks surprised. Don't think you can just waltz up to me and act all lovey-dovey. I snap, crossing my arms. Lovey-dovey. A look of pure confusion on his face. I roll my eyes and he growls at the action. Don't you grow at me. Poking him in the chest. His eyes widen. What is with you? Looks like I have to spell it out. Have you forgotten all about the kitchen earlier? His eyes darken. I don't think I would forget this morning. Smirking. I fight the urge to smack him. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about your actions after that. Kale is fine, though I don't see why you would be so worried about my best friend. Narrowing his eyes. Your best friend. That is how you treat your best friend. Why does it matter? Something clicks in my head. Do you think I like him or something? He lets out a loud growl. His eyes turning green. Oh, get over yourself. I snap. His nostrils flare. I don't like Kale. I don't even know the guy. I shout, throwing my hands in the air. I don't think you should have handled him like that. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. He did nothing wrong, but that isn't what I'm talking about. Calum takes a few deep breaths before his eyes go back to normal. Then what are you talking about? I flinch, sighing. He rubs his hand over his face. What are you talking about? He repeats in a calmer voice, clearing my throat. I say I'm talking about you giving me nasty looks, not believing me, and pushing me to the side like I don't exist. I thought I was just mad, but after saying it out loud, I realize what I really is hurt. I don't know why. It's not like it's the first time I've been shoved to the side. We had important business to discuss. I look at him, waiting for him to explain, but he doesn't, and, raising my brows, it doesn't concern you. Waving his hand dismissively, still doesn't explain why you were giving me dirty looks. I wasn't giving you dirty looks. I was upset because you were standing in the kitchen in nothing but my button-up, which is see-through, by the way, and a pair of boxer shorts. In front of my beta, I blush from embarrassment and anger. How is that my fault? It's not like I had any other clothes to wear. Crossing my arms over my chest and looking away, I huff in frustration. You didn't believe me when I said I didn't know about the alpha blood. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I mumble, but he heard it. All shifters have great hearing. No, he sighs. I didn't. I glance at him, but he isn't looking at me. He is staring off somewhere in the greenhouse. You haven't exactly told me a lot about yourself. finally looking at me. And I have asked. So, no. I didn't believe you. Because how could someone not know they have alpha blood? I shrug and he shakes his head. See again. You don't answer questions. Now it's my turn to sigh. Tell him. Pushes Naoma. No, I snap at her. At least tell him something. Has he not earned a little trust? Has he not taken care of us? Been there through our heat? I groan to myself. I will give a little. My parents were betas. Not looking at Calum. The topic of me having alpha blood was not going to just go away, and, as painful as thinking of my parents is, I have to give him something. To my agent extraordinaire, Wayland Milburn, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. My eyes sting. Taking a deep breath, I fight back the tears. Yes, where I say, trailing off. We are both silent for a few moments. How long? Ugh, this is a subject I wanted to avoid. 12 years. 13 come this summer. Still avoiding eye contact. He doesn't say anything else, but I feel him move closer to me, and I feel his arm encircle my waist. Don't I sniffle, hugging myself? But he doesn't listen, just pulls me into his chest. A sob works its way up my throat as a tear leaks down my cheek. Goddess? I said I wouldn't cry. He hugs me tighter. The last time I'd been held like this was when I'd fallen and skinned up my knee, just a week before. My mother and father were taken from me. With that thought, the tears I'd been fighting so hard spill over. Slowly, I wrap my arms around his waist and sob into his chest. The pain I had felt on the day I lost them, never being able to talk about it. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Milburn, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. All the pain I had been through since, having no one to comfort me, all of it pours out, in crying so hard I can hardly breathe. All the while, Calum holds me, rubbing small circles on my back. I don't know how long I held on to him, but after a while, his scent aids in soothing me and my tears slow, as my breathing becomes somewhat normal. Sorry, I sniffle. Pulling that, I use my sleeve to wipe my eyes. I didn't want to look at Calum. I'm sure my face is all puffy and swollen. Thank the goddess I didn't wear makeup because I would look clown. I feel him place his hand under my chin. A cheers gentle as he lifts my head up, locking eyes with mine. I can see his sadness. Another tear rolls down my cheek, but he wipes it away with his thumb before tracing my bottom lip. Sparks shoot through my body as he slowly leans down and kisses my lips. This wasn't like the other kisses. This was gentle. It was caring. He slowly caresses my cheek before pulling away. Don't be sorry. Leaning his forehead against mine, I shut my eyes and breathe deep. I don't know everything you have been through, but I want you to share it with me. I want to take your pain away. Not cause you know. I nod, and he kisses my forehead. Now, he says, pulling back, let's get you changed and then I am going to take you shopping. I look at him confused. Shopping. Like you said, it's not your fault that you had to wear my clothes. And as much as I love seeing you in them, and having my scent all over you, I don't want the rest of my pack seeing what is mine. With that, he takes me by the hand, leading me out of the room. Shocking. Oh boy, this is going to be a complete disaster. It changed back into my outfit from yesterday. Calum had taken my clothes so they could be washed, and now I feel bad for jumping to conclusions. We are sitting in the front seats of an extremely nice car. I don't know much about cars, but it is all black with leather interior. A full digital touch screen is on display in the center of the dash and it even talks to you. Let's just say it looks extremely expensive. Where are we going? Watching as we pass all the tiny shops in the pack. We are going into the city to get you more suitable clothes, Calum says, not taking his eyes off the road. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Milburn, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. As in a human city. Feeling nervous, he glances at me. They will have more options and we won't have to wait for things to be ordered and delivered. How many clothes do you think I need? My eyes going wide. He couldn't be serious. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Correct me if I am wrong. Glancing at me again, but I assume you don't have any other clothes. I shake my head and he grunts. But we don't have to go all the way into the city. I am fine just wearing whatever. He shakes his head, and I was under the impression all women like to shop. I had never actually been shopping. I usually just took what was being tossed out. Though I couldn't have gone shopping if I had wanted to. I don't have any money. I blurt. How am I supposed to pay you back? He fully looks at me this time and I tighten my grip on the car's door. I don't drive, but I am assuming you are supposed to watch the road. Why would you think you need to pay me back? You are my mate. You need something. Then I will provide it. He turns back to the road. I am not a freeloader. Loosening my grip on the door. Eleanor, you are not freeloading. You need clothes and other things. You are my mate. Do not make me repeat it. Fine. I cross my arms, leaning back in my seat. I stare out the window. If he wants to buy me some clothes, then I won't stop him. Doesn't mean I have to like it. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. It takes us a good hour and a half to get to the city. Werewolves have to have a lot of room to run, which is why we set up our territories in remote areas. Not that we don't keep up with the luxury that most humans prefer. However, being close to nature is not only a drive most of our kind have, but separation from humans who don't really know of our existence is extremely important. If history has proven one thing, it is that people fear what they don't understand, and that fear has driven mankind to all sorts of war and other disasters. Nope, it's just safer to keep our distance. I stare out the window as we pass buildings and all the people walking about doing this and that. I scrunch my nose. I can see why they call it a concrete jungle. The roads go all over, as do the sidewalks. At least they've put some trees and a few bushes here and there. I couldn't fathom living here. The air smells of gas and the goddess only knows what else. My heightened sense of smell and hearing are in overdrive, making me want to plug my ears and hold my breath. Calum stops the car in front of a large building that I have to crane my neck to see the top, putting it in park. He comes around and opens my door. The noise just intensifies and I swear I can feel my head starting to pound. He holds out his hand, so I hesitantly take it. The contact between us helps to lessen the nausea I am beginning to feel. As he helps me out of the car, he doesn't let go of my hand. I have to admit, I don't really want him to, pulling me to his side. He wraps his arm around my waist, and we walk up to the building. The enormous windows show off all sorts of clothes. They look way too fancy for me. He steers me into the building through a rotating door. First time I had ever seen one of those. For a minute, I thought we were going to get stuck in it, but its fast speed let us out just as quickly. He keeps me close as we make our way further into the building. You okay? He whispers in my ear. I can only nod. There is so much to take in. It's overwhelming. First time in the city. I nod again. Don't worry. It will be fine. It takes some getting used to. Kissing my temple. Out of nowhere, I hear a high-pitched squeal that puts my wolf on edge. Are we being attacked? Someone grabs a hold of me and jerks me away from Calum into a bone, crushing hug. Bite her, screams Naoma, and I let a loud growl. The woman who about choked me to death lets go. Sorry, she says with a huge grin. I should have introduced myself first. Elara, Calum says, leaning in and kissing her cheek. I growl again. I don't like him touching her. Calum smirks at me before turning to introduce us. Eleanor, this is Elara, Kayla's sister. Elara, this is Eleanor, your mate, and soon to be Una. Yes, I know all about her, Elara says, waving her hand. He gives her a sideways glance. Don't worry. We are going to be best friends. She continues, ignoring the warning look Calum is giving her. Walking over, she loops her arm in mine. Kale told me you need a whole new wardrobe, and let me tell you, I am completely honored that Calum is letting me help you shop. She babbles, pulling me towards the racks of clothes. I glance behind me. Calum is following close with an amused look. Elara leads us to a set of seats in the middle of the racks and all but pushes me into a chair, while Calum takes the seat next to mine. I have no idea what to make of her as I watch her small frame run around, grabbing this and that. She is really pretty with her blonde hair pulled up high. She has an angelic face with big round brown eyes, glancing in every direction as she seems to find more and more things. After a few moments, her arms are full and she is pulling me up and shoving me into a dressing room, all the while talking away. I don't think Shess even noticed my lack of response as I sit on the bench in the dressing room. And I said to Kale when he said Calum was going to take you shopping. No way. He won't have any idea what to buy. She needs to have a woman's point of view. She rambles, hanging things up in the dressing room. I've never met someone who talks so much in my life. I think we should start with the dresses, she says, stepping back and eyeing everything. I mean, you are going to need one for the upcoming Alphas meeting, so we should definitely start there. Wait, what? What meeting? Confused. The annual Alpha meeting. The one they throw every year. It's a huge thing, all the pack leaders go. Do you want to wear something in white? Pulling white dresses in different styles. I think white would look great on you. Or maybe a darker color, she continues. Though it is your first Alpha meeting, and you are coming as a new Luna. I'm not sure, I try to say, but she doesn't hear me. Wait. Something eye-catching, she says, grabbing a few other dresses in a bright red. Yes, that would be better. It'll help you stand out. Elara. Oh, how about we get you something in black instead? Then we could. Melanie. I shout, finally getting her attention. What? Her round eyes look so innocent. Rubbing my temples. I've never had someone ask me so many questions in just about a dress. I don't really feel comfortable with all of this. I don't know anything about this Alpha meeting and I don't think I will be going. BB, but you have to go, she says, shocked. I look up at her, shaking my head. Calum and I just met. I don't know the first thing about being a Luna. I didn't even know there was going to be a meeting. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. A thing? Waving my hand in the air. Not to mention I don't want all the attention. Elara lets out a huge sigh, sitting down next to me. After a minute she says I'm sorry. I look at her, confused. Why is she apologizing to me? I tend to get a bit excited, and my mouth can run away from me. She says, smiling sheepishly. I know things are new with you guys and that you are probably really overwhelmed. I nod. But look, she continues, turning towards me. The meeting isn't till next month, so you have time. Besides, I will be going as KLS +1. He hasn't found his mate yet and neither have I. Though at this point I'm thinking he is trying to see if I will match with any of the other betas, so I will be by your side the whole time. I can't help smiling. She is hard not to like. Now, she says, clapping her hands together, I will do my best to slow down. What do you want to wear? I glance at the many dresses she has strung on the rack. Might as well pick something. Goddess knows she isn't going to let me out of here until I do. Making my way to the rack, I flip through the many dresses and find one in a dark blue. Calum loves blue. Maybe he will like this. I pull it off the rack and Elara gasps. Oh, that is perfect, she says, standing up. You have to try it on. I look at her. Try it on. Why really? Haven't you ever tried on clothes before? I shrug. Well, you're going to start today, she says, taking the dress and placing it on a loan hook. They'll be just outside the door if you need me. And with that she steps out. I stare at the beautiful floor-length dress in front of me. Taking a deep breath, I strip and step into it. Putting it up, the inside is silky smooth, while the outside seems thicker. Reaching back, I pull up the zipper. You would probably get hot wearing this, except it has short thick straps and see the lace that runs the length of my ribs to my hips before wrapping around the open back, exposing all my skin. Turning, I look in the mirror, not recognizing the woman staring back at me. A small knock sounds on the door and Elora pops her head in and gasps. Turning towards her. Perfect. She squeals, jumping in place. I think I should be the judge of that. I hear Calum say from behind her. Elora practically slams the door in his face. Oh no, you don't, Alpha, she shouts, holding it shut. You know the rules for the meeting. You are not allowed to see it until you go. I hear Calum grumble something under his breath as he heads back to his seat. Don't worry, she says, winking at me. I will take the dress out and have it boxed up so he doesn't get to see it now. Let's try on some more stuff. I groan. More really. A few stores and about 100 different outfits. Shoes, underwear, handbags, and jewelry later. I am about to lose my mind. We have been at it for hours, and I swear, if Elora tries to force me into one more outfit, I am going to go full werewolf. What do you think of this? Holding up a scarf. It takes everything in me not to roll my eyes. What would I need that for? I am basically an internal heater. Werewolves don't get cold easily. She sighs. It's called an accessory. Was that what she had called the last 10 things she had grabbed? I look at Calum, giving him a pleading look. I have to say he has been a good sport through the whole thing. How that man has so much patience following us all over I could never guess. Or maybe he was enjoying watching me suffer. Naomi snorts. I have to agree. Thank the moon goddess. I only have fur. At this point, I don't disagree with her. Calum must finally be feeling bad for me because he reaches over and picks one of the scarves. Elora. I think Eleanor is ready to call it a day. Oh, thank the goddess. Reaching into his pocket, he pulls out a credit card. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Go ahead and pay for everything and you brought the Jeep. Right. She nods, taking the card from him. Good. Just has to have them loaded up and take it to the house. I've already instructed where to put everything. Elora unnods and turns to me. We will have to do this again soon. I haven't had this much fun in forever, she says, giving me a hug. I smile, hugging her back. Not a chance in hell. I cringe as she makes her way to the register. I can't help thinking how much everything must have cost. Calum leads me out of the store and down the street. Would you like to get something to eat? He asks as we walk back towards the car. I shake my head. I really just want to go. Opening my door with a frown. You really should eat something. It's not the first time I have skipped a meal. Climbing in, he shuts my door and gets in the driver's seat. I would rather you not skip any more meals. Starting the car and pulling onto the street. All the clothes Elora had insisted I needed wouldn't fit if he keeps trying to feed me. Are you seriously going to complain about food? Naomi chimes in. I feel slightly irritated with her. And just where have you been during all that torture? She snorts. We might be one, but that doesn't mean I have to keep a full presence. I think more to myself, and she chuckles.